on this point in particular, you can still remain on it. And we saw it yesterday, you lose your Lucio. It doesn't matter too much because you're playing on the point. You don't need that disengage. Really, the major thing that you're lacking there is the boot, which can alleviate a lot of pressure from your Reinhardt. I think one thing that we have to keep an eye on is if Young and Beautiful do find a pick in this fight, can they actually finish the fight out? It's a problem they've had here, and I think OnePoint, if they're a team to be able to do it. They're not running the Winston, however, though, Tridd, so they are going to give up this high ground relatively for free, which means that the hot control has to be major right now.
Has to be on point, and unfortunately, you have to concede that territory. The only person you can go up there now to contest it is maybe Aang, and you can get Tech 3-6 up there as well. There might be a path for Zik to go up there with a jump with a right click, and everyone seems to be disappearing around the point. There's point control going over to Young and Beautiful so far. They're trying to isolate Chubbs, push it back into the rest of the team on the mini. They're just not letting him get anywhere near the point. 1/3 already taken. And OnePoint need to emerge onto this, attack Young and Beautiful, and stop this progress from going in. They got 2/3, but little to nothing. Just kind of moves towards that shatter. Zik's already found Flippy, but I think if you're Young and Beautiful, you take the 2/3 and salvage what you can and go again.
Yeah, pretty happy with that, to be honest with you. And I think a lot of that comes down to not denying that rotation as much as they could. And Chubbs wasn't playing on top of Hut. You can get up there. I'm not sure why they didn't put him up there in the first place. The major thing from this fight, though, is that all the cooldowns that Young and Beautiful force out early as they drop down the point from the high ground is cooldowns that OnePoint don't have as they get trapped on this left-hand side, which is why they cannot re-engage onto this team. Crandop looking to drop down this shatter, and there's the position to do it.
Oh, he gets stunned up just a fraction too late from Polly, and the Soundbite has to come out to save the team. But Young Savage will still find Zik. Grabs on Surge coming out from Yono, and Zik wasn't able to get that grab online. Chubbs sitting on an Earth Shadow will get the charge kill onto Flippy. At this point, needs to be looking at conceding and thinking about point B, because they only have to take 1/3 of the point. The Scaler going to move in there with no shielding. He just gets burnt down. Tech will stall for as long as he can. Burn as much of the time bank, but he knows it's going over to Young and Beautiful. 6 minutes to assault point B.
Yeah, and 4 ultimates coming into it as well versus just the 2 on OnePoint. Zik is going to have to do a massive amount of work in the early fight if Young and Beautiful do this quickly to get onto that Graviton. Unfortunately, Huni actually was able to hold on to his Transcendence in that fight, which means there is a viable counter to the grab should it come out. But Chubbs could lay down the hammer on top of it to ensure that Tech 36's bomb does find the picks.
Nice boot there, perfectly timed to get Crandall, and he even goes for the 180 to stop the counter shatter coming out. Yeah. Perfect set piece there, coming in from Eng and Chubbs.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's funny to see because Young Savage did the exact same thing, setting up Crandop on point A, and now Eng repays the favor with Chubbs alongside him. But Young and Beautiful, let's just take a look at Young Savage's ult charge, right? He's on 4%. He used his sound barrier during that fight. What happened to it? He just got burnt away.
Absolutely decimated. I love the idea there that like OnePoint get that brute shatter combo done to them. Like, hang on a minute, we can do that.
We do that too.
Let's do that to them, and they do it on point B to shut down the open. I made this. He's just going to get burnt down again with the Transcendence, and they didn't really have much of a fight started at the point he went down, so I'm not surprised Huni kept hold of the Transcendence. Was like, we'll save this for later.
Yeah, we'll hold on to this one. We probably need this one a little bit when Zik undoubtedly gets the grab online. OnePoint, now they're standing on with the grab bomb combination. They don't have the shadow to ensure it will come through, so a lot of it's down to Polly right now to make sure that the bomb does go off. Riley comes out early, does force out a lot of aggression onto Young and Beautiful. They make the quick disengage, but at least OnePoint now will be running with a little bit of that extra armor on top.
They still got a little bit of armor there, Flippy, but he's going to need to get towards that rally to give it to everyone else. And he's only 20% away. Tech getting a lot of focus there from Yona's beam. Graviton Surge comes out, pulls in multiple members, and Transcendence has to come out from the Scaler. Counter grab could have come out. I think that may have been cancelled actually. I don't see where that Graviton Surge is, as the self-destruct will land in the middle of them. And Scaler taking out Crandrop. Obviously going to force Young and Beautiful to retreat. He was very close to getting a shatter, which could have been the showstopper for them, but the reset has to come in instead. Where did that grab go, Blank?
Which one?
The grab that Zik put out. I didn't see where it went.
Oh, it held Crandop and Danny in place during the mid-fight there. And then really the major thing was Crandop got pulled away out of it, by Chubbs, and then the bomb went off. Obviously, the bubbles were used, which meant that this chase down was so much easier for them. And that's the major thing, is that because they were able to chase them down, and Volskaya really only has one exit route other than just jumping off into the wall, which Danny took probably a wise decision of doing. It's actually led Zik up to 73% right now, where Jonah's sitting on a measly 50% for the time being.
He was so game for the reset.
He was, yeah. He was like, I'm out.
He had the diving cap and the goggles on already to go with the Chubbs. Going to plant that shatter into Krandop's shield. Transcendence coming out. Sound barrier being done in exchange. Hooney going down again, but tragedy there. 90% of the way to a Transcendence. Maybe could have been the difference maker. And 1Point, they're happy to just walk this forward.
Danny's gone. He's gone again.
He has to go. He's taking the long walk. Very straight off there. Goggles, swim cap. He's even got the flippers on.
He's taking the deep dive back to spot. I just love how he just, it's just the immediate detour off to the right. The booster's engaged.
Like I said, he's so game for the dive, dude.
Eject! Yeah, and at 1Point, they're looking pretty solid right now. They've got the Graviton online. Obviously, Young and Beautiful has got the same. The major difference here is that Scalar doesn't have that Transcendence, and that's down to him using those aggressive tempo Transcendences, which means that Zik has to hit a hearty counter grab here.
Graviton coming out from Yona. Counter grab, obviously, like you said, it needs to be hearty. Transcendence going to be making sure that the blood keeps pumping through theirs as they stay active because of the healing. Danny going down, getting a lot of focus at the moment. Will get healed up as Chubbs looking for that shatter. Not going to have the same effect there. It was a nice attempt, but Zik will still find Hooney on the back end of it. Hooney's consistently the first member of the team to die on Young and Beautiful, and it's starting to become a problem.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of punishment, that's for sure. Poor lad, all in all. They really do focus him down a lot of these fights, but he's a little bit out of position, maybe playing on the right-hand side a little bit too often, a bit too far up, rather than playing in the back and playing this line where you have your you use your Zen and have him in good line of sight to always apply the Discords and Orb of Harmonies. The sad thing in that fight, though, is that Jonah unleashes the Graviton onto Chubbs, and that indicates that they want to get rid of the main tank, open it up for Krandop to drop down the shatter on top. But unfortunately, Chubbs is lifted a little bit too far off the ground, and they can't initiate the charge because Krandop just drops himself straight into the wall.
That grab coming out, Sound Barrier as expected. They're going to try and get that extra damage out there. Big shatter from Chubbs.
That's large.
Isolates Krandop. Scalar's going to take out Flippy, and there's not really a leg for Young and Beautiful to stand on. They're getting ults on the board, and they're running into last fight territory.
Yeah, Chubbs consistently coming out in the waiter's uniform and asking who ordered the large Earth Shatter, please. And you know what? The rest of the team is very happy to pick that one up. But Young and Beautiful, on the other hand, are a little bit unhappy about it.
Yeah.
But now this is the fight for Young and Beautiful. They have 5 ultimates here. 1Point, they're down 1. They don't have the Graviton, so really all of this comes down to Jonah a little bit in this fight. He has the extra ultimate here. It has to be good. They're taking the platform round right now.
The express.
They're taking the overtime express right now.
They're done with the choke. They don't want to go through there again, so they decided they'll skip that part there. They're moving over with these ultimates, like we've already mentioned. Final fight for them. If they don't get this right, they could be going home and losing the game here. They're going to have a valiant hold on their defense if they want to try and counteract this one. There's the grab coming in. Self-destruct put on top, charging through. Danny finds 2, Tech's going to find 1 in return. They have spawn advantage. You need conclusivity with this one. You need to end it quickly, otherwise spawn advantage will take over in favor as Zik takes a dive of his own. There's the grab with the Transcendence. Jonah finding Eng. It's very pieced together. Like we said, it's not conclusive, and that gives time for 1Point to mount a defense and get back onto the point. They need to touch last second. You saw Young Savage going for the denial. Danny's still going to find Polly on the back end of that with the micro missiles if they're keeping you off the point. Shatter goes down into the shield. Critical healing needed, and they're getting control of this one. Zik will take out Hooney and a D-Mech onto Danny, but ultimately Young and Beautiful still have control of this point, and the beat from Young Savage is there if they need it. They did not. Young and Beautiful may get another attempt, depending on how well they can defend 1Point.
Yeah, so they're in overtime there. Like you said, if they can reduce 1Point's time bank to -1 minute, they will get another chance to go again right now. Young Beautiful, however, the one player that's really being stand out all the time is Young Savage. Now, he's setting up a lot of these plays for the rest of the team, be it Earth Shatters or just being a real annoyance for One.PoinT, to be honest with you. You saw there he was darting in and out, playing peekaboo with Chubbs, and Chubbs just gets so frustrated, drops down the Earth Shatter there, and doesn't find anyone. And really at that point, Young Savage is already around the corner already for the next game of peekaboo. It's a sad time, but I think credit where credit's due. Young Savage really propping this team up quite well. One.PoinT on the other hand, their Lucio also doing much of the same. A really clutch sound barrier towards the end of that fight keeps Zik alive for a little bit while longer. Unfortunately, the self bubble already gone on cooldown. It's a good 10 seconds before they get another one up again. So Young and Beautiful, they really did set themselves up for success in that fight. Nice little bit of patience, get themselves their ultimates back up again. Now One.PoinT, they're seeking to end this one quickly.
They're going to have to, like I said, if they can get it over that 1 minute time bank, then they just guarantee themselves at minimum a draw, and it's also another series loss for Young and Beautiful if they can do that. Young and Beautiful, they're going to be well aware of that condition, and they're going to want to try and, like you said, bring it down to that sub 1 minute time bank, but they've got to burn through 7 minutes of time to make that happen.
Yeah, they're going to be focused. They're going to be proper focused right now. It is down to these 2 points right here, and it really does mean whether a series loss or not. One.PoinT, like I said, they're looking to finish it nice and quick. Chubbs might switch back over the Reinhardt if they checked out what they're playing. Both teams mirroring right now the Reinhardt versus Reinhardt. Currently, Krandop is not holding the high ground, so they're gonna take this right-hand approach right now, and I agree with this. It gives you a lot of ability to do what you want to do up there. It gives you angles to set up your Zenyatta, as well as angles to set up your Zarya with relative safety. But Young and Beautiful so far, they're pretty wise to this, so they're just getting Chubbs into position for the time being.
What's really good about this position is they take control of the Mega Health Pack as well.
Yeah,
so they can always fall back onto that with the supports, and you got Huni. See, on the back line, relatively safe. He doesn't have that additional healing to fall back onto, so it could be quite difficult if One.PoinT were to aggress onto them. Because it also forces Young and Beautiful to go on the aggression themselves to get control of the point and deny the capture. Because right now, they're doing what happened to them. They got 2/3 for free, basically. They're forced around the corner because of cooldowns. Young Savage, get in cover. You do not want to be tracked down by Zik. He's been laser precise. The shadow will drop down into the shield. Now it opens it up for Crandall to drop one of his own. He's going to come online very shortly for that, and Chubbs needs to stay up. He's going to be denied. Sound barrier to make it happen for Young and Beautiful. They even commit the self-destruct on the back end of that. One.PoinT are going to do the same in turn, and they're going to deny that purely by using the shields, using the bubble, and using the cover. 2/3 for One.PoinT. They got a couple more assaults in the back.
I think Tech 36 using the bomb there is a little bit ambitious, to say the least. You lose Pollitt, you lose Chubbs, and those are the two major tools that you need to make sure a bomb does go off in that situation, other than Eng making a godly boop out the way. And this now means that they don't have a grav bomb combination anymore. You can't out-damage Huni's Transcendence. Yeah. You can definitely try, and a lot of abilities like charge into high charge Zarya will do the trick, but it's much harder. A lot of times, Young and Beautiful will be able to stop that aggression from happening.
They're going to stop this Earth Shatter coming out from Krandop as well. Graviton Surge ready for Zik. That's the showstopper right now on point A, waiting for the right time to do it. Beat comes in very aggressively from One.PoinT. I don't think anyone's at risk of dying. You're going to be locked up now. There's the Transcendence and the Graviton Surge used by Young and Beautiful to shut down this push. They're still holding on to Zik's grab as they retreat back into cover. And they're going to go for a reset on this one. Go next, knowing that that support ultimate and even Young Savages isn't online next time.
Yeah, it's very smart. And from what a fight that they came out of just them, where there maybe was an overuse of ultimates, into a fight where they take it very, very slow. They only use a sound barrier to force out as much as possible out of Young and Beautiful. It seems that they immediately understood the mistake and have done everything in their power to rectify it. So very happy with that one coming into the next fight right now. Danny, he has his self-destruct. It has to be very good during the mid-fight to create space for Young and Beautiful to build towards some of these ults. Most importantly right now is the sound barrier for the re-engage from Young Savage.
He's going to have to drop down there from there eventually. Chubbs getting the reinforcements from his team. Sitting on that Earth Shatter, as we expected. Graviton Surge comes out, pulls them together. There's the swing, there's the cleave. He's going above as the self-destruct looking for something. They're being traded, and the Transcendence will come in favor of One.PoinT as Zik finds Krandop. And they just need to clean this one up now. Capturing point A obviously will give them that additional time back to go and force point B and look towards getting this second attempt. Most important thing, ults in the bag for the next round. They've only got the rally on the side of OnePoint, and you're moving towards a Graviton and a rally from Young and Beautiful. Quick pause, gonna kill all momentum. There's probably some technical issues coming in.
Yeah, probably a keyboard or something playing up, maybe a W key, not playing as it should be doing. But yeah, we're gonna have a quick pause here. Young and Beautiful for the time being. I think the major thing we got to look at here is the fact that in that fight, Crandop lays down a wonderful shatter.
Yeah.
Everyone at OnePoint is on their back, and Crandop was the one to charge that Earth Shadow during that fight. Danny was the one to start the fight with the self-destruct, so there really isn't any forgiveness there for the Diva Bomb coming out late, because that could have ended that fight there and then. There was no one there to prevent that ultimate from going through. Obviously, Zik was on the floor, no bubbles available, so either Danny got hit by Chubbs' Earth Shatter, or Polly made one hell of a bash onto him. I couldn't tell you about watching it back, but in my eyes, it just does seem that Danny unleashed that self-destruct a little bit too late.
So maybe it's one for the highlight package afterwards.
Perhaps, perhaps.
Of course, we just, like I said, having a technical issue right now, probably one of the players. It could be a myriad of things, but we're going to be jumping into the action much shortly, much quicker.
Much shortly. This is a case of very tomorrow all over again.
Yeah, it's very tomorrow happening, and much shortly we're into the game, moving on to point B, and the aggression obviously coming out. They want to take an early position away from Young and Beautiful, get that capture on the board. Denied that first checkpoint. They're looking to stun up Crandop and bring him down. Chuck's going down very low, and Flippy's going to be the one to get the kill, just swinging that mace in there. And OnePoint are going to be on the retreat immediately afterwards. Well played by Young and Beautiful to shut down the momentum and even denied him that first checkpoint.
Yeah, this fight was all about creating ultimates for OnePoint, but what they didn't realize is that Young and Beautiful seem to have them downloaded now, because they're just applying so much pressure to Chubbs in these fights as he walks a little bit too far forward at times. And despite Polly using the armor pack, amping that healing, and Scalar dropping the overharming onto him, it's not enough to keep him alive, because they use their cooldowns very early in the fight, such as the projected barrier. So Young and Beautiful, they have their win condition secured right now. It's just to remove the Chubbs from this fight very quickly, and then Zik with his aggressive playstyle starts to fall apart a little bit.
I like that, actually. Jumping from high ground to high ground there to try and force them around the upper rafters. And then they're just going to try and rain down damage from where they can. Grab being committed early. There's Transcendence from Huni. Yona going to get bursted out throughout that. Well played by them to make that happen. Chubbs taking it out. They're going to have to do a kill onto Polly with the Flame Strike tech, eating up as much damage as you can, fighting against the sound barrier from Young Savage. The rest of the team, Eng's holding on to his one for now. Going to go another reset for OnePoint. They got 3 minutes in the time bank, and they're starting to build up towards having the ultimates to contest and take down Young and Beautiful. But for the time being, for the next couple of fights, looks like Yab have the economic victory.
They do a little bit, but not having both those support ultimates is really bad for them. Especially if OnePoint has both of theirs online. In a long sustained fight, arguably support ultimates are the most important right now. 300 HPS and 700 instant shielding is so incredibly valuable for you as OnePoint. It gives you time to get towards your other ultimates, whilst pretty much creating a situation where Young and Beautiful have to disperse or die. So really this fight comes down to how OnePoint use these support ultimates aggressively or defensively, should they want to use them that way.
So which of the two Ds of support ultimates will they be falling into this time? As they're throwing that Graviton Surge early, it could be the Decease or it could be the Disperse. It's going to be the Decease. Young and Beautiful, keeping it clean. 1 ult committed, no, 2 ults actually. Danny went in with the self-destruct to make that happen. Got a support ultimate, 2 online, and the Earth Shatter as well.
That is so unpredictable from OnePoint, though. It's like, how do you know that Scalar isn't going to use his Transcendence in that fight there? But major things are 45 seconds right now, Tridd. They have to complete in that time, otherwise potentially Young and Beautiful, they force out a new round. 30 seconds and it's looking less and less likely. So Young and Beautiful, again, done exactly what they did on Blizzard World, and they have just ripped apart the time bank.
Let's not speak too soon with this one. Share the sentiment entirely, but of course, oh no, you're absolutely right, Blank. They're just going to be able to stall this one out now based on this fight's going. Big shadow coming out, especially from Crandop to make that happen. Zik being bullied as much as we've seen Chubbs being bullied in the past. He's got to grab us on Surge, pull them together on the edge of the point, still able to contest. Looking to burn through someone. Self-destruct comes down. Chubbs will get the kill onto Crandop. They're pushing them into this overtime scenario now. Shadow comes down from Yona. That's a big W for Young and Beautiful. They get another attempt on Volskaya. If they cannot keep and detour Young and Beautiful from the point.
Young Savage does have this ultimate coming up online very shortly. Yona has Also, this Graviton still potentially could be a re-engage here that OnePoint is not prepared to defend against.
But there's that sound barrier coming in, and they're looking, and they've already found Chubbs. This might be the victory coming in from Young and Beautiful. If they can get away with this map, deter them with 30 seconds remaining, it looks like they're going to walk away with this one. They've even got ults on the board for that last-ditch effort from OnePoint. Young and Beautiful are on the cusp of taking their first map win in this season of Contenders.
And Young Savage, once again, towards the end of that beginning fight, he boops away Chubbs, prevents the charge onto Jonah, which allows him to get up, charge towards his next Graviton, and then an excellent re-engage with the sound barrier at the very last moment. This might have secured them the victory here, but they still have to weather one last fight. Can they hold the line here, Tridd, for their first ever win?
They've got a Graviton surge. There's the rally coming in. Polly pops up. They've got the self-destruct on top of them. Nice battle, nice charge. Danny will pick up the kill onto Chubbs and destroy OnePoint's ambitions of the 4-0 in a pivotal series for them. Young and Beautiful gonna walk away. Like we said, their first map win of the season, and it's OnePoint to be the donator.
They do not go quietly into the night, so at least Young and Beautiful, they come away with a map win. Good for them. And a lot of that comes down to Young Savage. I've got to keep praising this lad.
You keep saying Young Savage.
He's young, and he's savage, and he's also quite defensive because he comes out of a sound barrier, and it does a lot for his team.
Absolutely. So, Young and Beautiful pick up that map win over on Volskaya Industries, but dare I say it, Blank, is the reverse sweep on the cards? Because if you're taking map wins away from OnePoint, if you take Gibraltar and then a tiebreaker control map away from them, that's a big shutdown to OnePoint's ambitions, and you're just playing spoiler.
It's a big L. It's a big L indeed. So OnePoint, they've got to come back with a little bit of ferocity into this next match on Gibraltar. It's not an ideal map for free-free. You can expect both these teams to be playing free-free. So let's see how it shakes up when we do go there.
Let's go to a quick break then, and we'll jump straight back in to Gibraltar. Hey everyone, welcome back. Final map potentially on the cards, but we thought it was going to be all over. For Young and Beautiful, they come back. They get the hold on Volskaya Industries, and now we're looking at potentially an incredibly high morale Young and Beautiful, because like I said, that was their first map win of Contenders this season, which probably going to do wonders for their mental game going into this final map. WatchPoint Gibraltar, the reverse sweep could be on the cards for them, but 1Point, they have to get the win here to look at guaranteeing themselves playoffs.
Yeah, it's the mental is strong right now.
Yeah.
It really is. It's as strong as a Jedi. So hopefully coming to this map, Gibraltar is a good one for them. It's unfortunately a highly momentum-based map because Point B can go over very quickly just because of the way the chokes work versus the attacking team. They can take very proactive positioning. I think 1Point is a highly momentum-based team, especially with Zik on side. So far, however, Young and Beautiful have shown us that they are stacking themselves up to be this massive shield, and 1Point is the very pointy spear. So it really comes down to which breaks first, the spear point or the shield itself.
Well, at the tip, ironically, at the tip of that spear is a shield. It's usually Chubbs.
Usually, yeah. It's a very weird weapon, but it's like, you're just like bopping people from afar.
It's a shield on a little end of a pole.
Yes, it's what Brigittas use.
It's like when you play.
It's like when they want to be ranged.
It's like when you play snooker. It's like one of those little things on a massively long stick here. But it's going to be Young and Beautiful on the defense first, and they're going to get set up with a traditional GOATS composition. I would not be surprised if 1Point would roll out with the composition they're looking at here. Good old pirate ship, and Polly does want a cracker on that pirate ship.
Yeah. It's interesting that they would play the double shield as well as. Really, with this composition, you just want to collapse on top of it. Tech 36 making the switch over to the Bastion now. Zik back over to the Zarya. So it looks like Tech 36 is just unleashing the Bastion just to get rid of any close holds in the beginning. We'll most likely switch back over to the Diva now.
Makes a lot of sense to be able to do that one. They're going to go in for a traditional GOATS matchup head-to-head on this one. Let's see if we can get the momentum going for 1Point and see if we can get that offense going as well. High ground control, obviously, for Young and Beautiful. 1Point going to just send Tech up there to try and harass them and get someone off the high ground, but also start raining down damage. They push Crowndog into 1Point to try and punish, and that's exactly what they do. Unable to get the kill, they do force a lot of resources to be expended on the main tank.
Yeah, now they're caught themselves in a very tight corner right now with the Mega Pack. That's probably the only bonus of being in there. I mean, you can get out very quickly, and obviously you can't be shield bashed either. But Flippy, he gets bashed and stunned up, goes very low.
First kill, just going to be like a house of cards. Yona goes down, Zik then finding Young Savage, and it's all downhill from there. And the fact that that distance went onto the payload before the first drop happened, it's really bad for Young and Beautiful to be able to try and contest this, because they're going to start with about full strength to try and get the full hold coming in here. If they drop down nice and early, Chubb's got that Earth Shatter online. Polly's already found Huni. He's going to just be dropped here with that Transcendence as well. There's not a hope in hell that Young and Beautiful get away with this fight. We're moving on to Point B. The momentum is in effect.
Great target selection by 1Point overall. Scalar constantly has his Discord orb on any target that they are bursting down, and by God do they go down quickly. Young and Beautiful, they're running with some ultimates coming online, but 1Point, really the major thing here for them is this fight has got to go quick for them. They cannot allow Young and Beautiful to get any ults online to be able to hold onto here, so you're often going to see a very early grab come out from Zik.
This could be the old one and done, just needs to get away from that defensive matrix that could come out from down to shut it all down, and taking this nice and slow. This is not what 1Point want. The slow fight is buying enough time for Young Beautiful to get ultimates to contest, and it's going to be the first one dropped forward. And sound barrier from Young Savage. Shadow coming through. Chubb's caught out by that one. Forced out of Transcendence nice and early. Will catch Chubbs in the nick of time. Now here's the grab. Counter Transcendence. Self-destruct over the top from Tech 36. The sound barrier is there, and he's going to find two. Flippy and Young Savage going down. Polly needs to stay up here to get maximum value out of this fight as they're continuing to throw Young and Beautiful to the side of the road.
They've done a really good job there to actually fight their way through in the end. There's a massive shatter coming out from Crandall, and Chubbs was a mid-jump as well, so despite him being on the floor, he was still flying through the air as well as...
On his back, very impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. 10 out of 10 points to you, but it comes down to Scalar with the instant medical assistance, drops down from the high ground with the Transcendence, keeps him alive there, and then 1Point can come back into it. Young and Beautiful, they have a self-destruct, which they're going to invest right now. now, but I think it's just a quick disengage for OnePoint, and then the re-engage with the Shatter.
Oh, re-engage from Shatter. And it's going to be Chubbs knocking down multiple members on the back line. They're pressing them against this wall. Zik will burn through Yona as expected, and just going to keep the ball rolling here. I don't think OnePoint have flinched this entire round as they seem in control of Watchpoint Gibraltar.
And this is exactly what I was talking at the beginning. It's such a momentum-based map because it's very difficult to get a hold on this map as a defensive team because, as you can see, the choke points from where the defenders come out from are so small. It's really easy to know where Young and Beautiful are coming from, and OnePoint can react accordingly into that fight. So already we're pushing around the first corner, and Young and Beautiful are in no position to hold aggressively here.
Got a Graviton Surge from Zik, and Huni might be able to pull out that Transcendence to shut that down. Round up as well with the Earth Shadow could be a good tool for them. You've also got the Budget Transcendence, and Young Savage going to be on board. So all defensive ultimates on deck for Young and Beautiful might be able to repel OnePoint here. You just need to be careful about how they're using them. Shadow goes in after a boot, will knock down 2 members. Pollitt and Tech 3-6 still managed to stay up. There will be a D-Mech there. The Graviton Surge comes out from Zik. Transcendence answered from Huni. So very passive so far. Tech will get that Diva back very quickly. He's at 75% already. Young and Beautiful can take an aggressive position knowing that that's not online for them. Young
Savage is so annoying to deal with. He's on the wall constantly all the time, and Zik can have to take his attention away as well because he has to shoot him, prevent that aggression from coming through, and Chubb's been bopped all over the place because Crandok keeps getting these consistent shatters due to Chubb's just being launched up into the air by a bouncy pad applied by Young Savage.
Stun comes in, wasn't quick enough. Well, it was actually too fast, actually. Chubbs won't get that Earth Shadow online. It'll be that Transcendence on top of the Graviton Surge. Self-destruct clears some more space. Yona has no barriers for this one. Home stretch. 3 minutes 15 on the clock for OnePoint, and they're keeping Young and Beautiful outside the spawn rooms. They have to play the guessing game. Which hole of the whack-a-mole are they going to come out of?
Exactly, but Zik potentially sets himself in position here to just hold them in spawn with the grab. Out comes the self-destruct. Don't think it will find anything there. Everyone's in position to defend against it.
You see Crandop on the wrecking ball trying to harass Scalar on the back line. There's that Graviton Surge. Young Savage has no response to it. They're going to clean him up. The ult coming out too late from Huni. He only just got that one online. It's Crandop going to be chancing around with that wrecking ball. Danny's supposed with the D-Mech. Shadows through the point to lock down Huni and try and shut down the rest of Young and Beautiful from getting this one in. Flippy and Crandop are able to contest. He's got the grapple hook. He's going for the solo queue play blank of just spinning around on the spot. You should try spinning. That's a cool trick as he goes in there, cleans them up. But they're going to be walked in. 2 minutes 30. Oh, Young Savage again. He's back. I love that angle. He comes in out of nowhere, knocks everyone back, and immediately they dive back at him and snap him off the point. Around about 2 minutes 30 left on the clock there for OnePoint.
Yes, created a lot of space for his team, but so far, there's a lot of moments where Tech 36 and Chubbs are actually comboing really nicely with the Shatter into the bomb. There seems to be some great coordination between these two players at the moment. Obviously, bomb goes out, Shatter comes out shortly afterwards, Jonah goes down, and it sets Zik up in a position where his charge towards his ultimate is so outclassing Jonah because he's been dead so much. It just means that every single fight is heavily in the favor of OnePoint. Their ultimates are always, their ult economy is always better than Young and Beautiful.
And that's really winning out the maps for them at the right now. Like I said, that's an impressive timeout. They got 2 minutes 30, pretty much 2:28 if you want to be precise, or nitpicky.
Nitpicky.
Yeah,
be nitpicky.
They're there. Got that in the bag. That safety net should they fail to stop Young and Beautiful from getting a full completion. OnePoint going onto the defense with a similar composition. No real changes here. They've been relying heavily on this GOATS composition. I think this is one of the least varied series we've seen in terms of composition so far. It's up there, I think.
They know what they want. They know what they want.
They know what they like.
Yeah, they know what they like. Leave them be.
Leave it out, mate.
Leave it out. Come on, son. I think what's interesting, and I'd love to have a statistic for this, is to know how much of the time Huni's actually been levitating / on the floor because of Chubbs' Shatter. He seems to always be caught by that one. He's like just on his back. He's like, this is not what I was made for. I was made to levitate. Come on.
That was not very Cash Harmony of you. He's just on the floor there. And they got that early Bastion pick from Danny to try the deter any aggressors. And I think they're going to change off now once they realize it's not that forward position and go back to a traditional composition of GOATs. They get Danny on that Diva. Flippy goes over to the Brigade, sir, and they're going to hold around this first corner.
It's a smart disengage from OnePoint there. They get a little bit of value, keep Young and Beautiful on their toes, and they can't get around this corner easily. And now, OnePoint have the ability to re-aggress in, and with Zik such high charge, things start to get a little bit dicey now for Young and Beautiful. Oh, he's going to get him.
Nearly gets him, but an armor pack comes in clutch to keep him alive. It's the only way that burst healing comes in. You got to worry about Yona now, who has to have more of the save to keep him topped up there. Around that corner as they go in for this first aggression. First kill coming in, reinvigorated 1Point off the back of that sound barrier as Chubbs gets a charge kill to Young Savage. And Danny, we talk about it, he's game for the reset, Blank.
I mean, this one's a dive off the top border. I mean, Gibraltar's a little bit of a longer way down than Volskaya is. But now, this is exactly how you have to play this map. Is the way that 1Point are doing it is they've broken the momentum early on, and their ult economy is now sitting a little bit better. Obviously, Zik is 50% charge ahead of Jonah, already has this Graviton in the pocket, and now 1Point are now the attackers. Interesting way this has swapped up a little bit.
How the turns have tables. The Scaler goes in and kills Young Savage. Huni, of course, going to answer back on the Scaler, so going to be avenging his fallen comrade. Crandall picks up the kill on Polly. 1Point, they're going to lose control of this foothold they had, but they've done a good job of burning a minute and a half off the time bank of Young.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 minutes before they even hit Car Wash underneath there with the Mega Pack. So good job to 1Point, and more so is that they have a free fight coming up here. Zik has the Graviton. Huni had to use the Transcendence in that fight just to push his team over their edge. Like, come on, lads, we have to make just this last hill towards the end. Young and Beautiful, they may have a Graviton in time to unleash that counter grav, but I doubt it's going to be there in time to stop Chuz from swinging in.
Swinging around is what they're going to have to do. Graviton Surge comes in, and you want to expect Chubbs goes for the burst damage. Sound barrier coming out from Young Savage just in time to save Flippy. And Honey's going to turn it around on the Polly. Takes him out, jumping over the payload. Chubbs goes for the swing. Graviton Surge coming out from Young and Beautiful. They're holding line for now, but Danny's still going to find Scaler, and then follows up on the Chubbs. Young and Beautiful should be able to walk this one over the line. They just keep this going. It's only Polly and Tech left. Just make that Polly come out the respawn. It's going to be point A going over Young and Beautiful.
Good job doing Beautiful. They managed to take a very good fight there in the end, sustain themselves through. A nice sound barrier for Young Savage to push themselves back into that fight. And now they're killing any stragglers towards the end. I really like that forward nature that they take there.
It's sloppy from 1Point as well. That's the problem.
They shouldn't have been that far forward.
They know that that's going to come in.
Definitely so. And now Young and Beautiful, they have 3 massive ultimates to engage with. They've got a Bomb, Rally, and also the Shatter. Huni has the Transcendence should things go awry, but you're more than likely going to see a Rally early here, and 1Point being removed from the payload as Young and Beautiful try and push it around.
Kind of just bullied in the corner, gets a punch to the side of the head as well from Zik. He presses into Young and Beautiful, shutting them down. Sound barrier had to be committed from Eng there, and there was no ultimate usage from Young and Beautiful, apart from the rally coming out from Flippy. But the payload was moving whilst they went back there to try and contest that one, trying to keep this in mobility and keep it under pressure while their reinforcements coming back in. And Young and Beautiful, if they play this right, they can just back off here, maybe die and come in again when the ultimates are in their favor.
It's a massive pick, though, early on for Young and Beautiful onto Scaler. Means that during that cleanup fight, Scaler's not able to find any way towards that next Transcendence. He's currently sitting at 68%. Jonah's ready to unleash the Graviton, but Tech 36, you can tell that he is in position here to deny the grab.
Oh, maybe not even just to deny the grab, just to deny them the high ground.
That's actually smart.
Really smart pathing there to make sure they're on the ground exactly where 1Point want them. Self-destruct still available for him to commit. I'm sure that's going to be comboed somehow with the Graviton Surge from Zik that's going to come out shortly as well. There's Zik going on, holding him to the side. Transcendence as expected. He skids it in across the floor behind them. Going to find 2. Flippy Young Savage going down. No sound barrier available for Young and Beautiful. And that was their only supportive ultimate available. One fight, it just cost them that big bang combo.
At 1Point, they've been playing so aggressively during this entire series, and suddenly they switch into this defensive mode, into the turtle position, as they move around the corner and play it very, very slowly. Then they allow Zik to get out the Graviton. You saw there that Tech 36 expected a counter grab, but just unleashed the self-destruct afterwards, and at that point 1Point could follow up, but it has allowed and given time for Scaler to get towards this Transcendence, which they need badly to hold on for this next fight versus the Graviton from Young and Beautiful.
They've got a lot of ults on the boards for Yab. Just need to plant that one out appropriately, and they should be able to get this one in and force out the final section of the map. There's that Graviton Surge. They pull the trigger on that one. Shadow comes down from Chubbs and shuts down Crandall from using it, getting in the extra charge. Danny will still find 2 from Chubbs and Ang on the back of the self-destruct, and now they've got no shield to block out a Shadow from Crandall. Should they have to use it, Danny's going to get another kill. Crandall follows it up as well. 1Point crumbling, and I don't think they have time for one last contest on checkpoint B, but they're going to have a time bank advantage if Yab can complete this map.
Yeah, they just have to back off here. But they, like you say, they will have a time advantage now. It's already down to 2 minutes 20. Last point, very difficult to get through usually because this corner works so well for the defending team. Pollitt and Scaler both go off the edge. Not sure what
for the reset because of the split spawn.
Ah, they were split spawn. Okay, that makes more sense. I thought everyone got back together to be honest with you. But now, 1Point, they're looking pretty decent. Zik actually retained a little bit of charge, so he's probably around 20 charge right now. But that's good enough. That gives you 100 charge in just the 2 bubbles. But you're trying Gandalf.
Oh,
looking for that.
He just walked straight past the shield. We talked about how pivotal that corner could be for 1Point's defense, and I'm pretty sure Crandop heard us. He goes, guys, I've got a solution. I just press W and then Q. What are they going to do about it? As they move now onto this home stretch, it becomes increasingly difficult for 1Point to regain control.
They do have a big restabilize tool here, though. It's the Grav Bomb combination. But Young and Beautiful, they want to lock them inside the spawn, not give them enough space to find a decent position to throw it out. Zik, which they do! Young Savage denies it!
He just sent it out immediately! The distance again! Young Savage! He's brutal! He's savage! And he's just wrecking 1Point as they walk out of the spawn room! Against the odds, Young and Beautiful! Gotta get that completion! We're gonna do Gibraltar again, Blank! The reverse sweep is still on the cards!
I'm gobsmacked, let alone the first one, then the second one as well as. This guy is, it's Boop City right now. Young Savage doing a wonderful job, all in all, to keep them in these games. A lot of times it comes towards the end and he's like dragging the rest of Young Beautiful, kicking and screaming, saying, we're not out yet, boys.
It's not even kicking and screaming. I feel some of them are being dragged down just like a corpse. He's just got their arm and he's just like, come on.
Come on, like, brother, we just need to win.
He's leaving like dirt tracks because they're dragging them behind. It does feel like that sometimes because Young Savage, he just comes in clutch at the last minute, like you said. He's done it on Volskaya. He's done it again on Gibraltar. He's keeping this team in it when it matters the most.
It's fairly incredible. I have not. A lot of times you see Lucios make some big plays, but it's not often you see Gibraltar Lucios getting massive amounts of like environmental picks towards the end of the map. It doesn't happen. I think that comes down to 1Point being perhaps a little bit flustered after the last map on Volskaya where they did lose to Young and Beautiful there. Young and Beautiful currently playing with an interesting composition. It does work well to break an early hold. It's very much counter dive, and really the way the 3-3 plays at the beginning of this map, it's very much diving. Now they're going to make the switches as they see that they're all backing off again. And Danny, there we go, back over the Diva.
As expected. And it means that Young 1Point, any work you did with that Bastion is now just been removed. Because 1Point like, they're on the Bastion, we're going to go straight in there. Flippy has to switch over himself because they know the aggressive position is being taken. They're literally just making sure that they have that Bastion on at all times to stop the aggressive hold. And then they change back over. Hooney's already found Chubbs and they've opened it up for Young and Beautiful to keep moving this payload down. They can find Crandrop, who's just been isolated. They might be able to level this one back in, and they're playing around the bunker. Jonah getting a lot of attention. He has no personal. He needs to dodge the damage, get the healing, and Danny will take out Tech 36 after a D-Mech comes in from Flippy, but the payload still stuck on this corner. And if they have any hope of getting a completion of point A, it's going to be done in overtime.
Savage just all over the place once again.
Yeah.
I saw him on one place of the screen, then suddenly he's elsewhere.
He's there. He's in the top left corner, just dancing off now.
I just don't know where he's going, but this is the problem. As 1Point broke the momentum early last time. This time it's all in Young Beautiful's court right now. They're coming up on that grab bomb combination. 1Point, they have a little bit to work with, the rally specifically, so they've got to go aggressive early here.
Good to knock Yon off the high ground there. Well played by Tech to make sure he's not got the option of that one. Sound Barrier coming out, so Graviton Surge. Hoodie
that's
taking
bad.
out Chubbs again. It's the same what happened last fight. Sound Barrier and Transcendence being committed by 1Point. This is the fight they want to win to guarantee it. Gonna pull them together. Got a D-Mech on Tech 36. Transcendence is there. Sound Barrier as well. But there's no self-destruct online for Tech 36 to combo with it. I think 1Point have thrown away way too much for an unwinnable fight in this instance.
Luckily, the Graviton did get a lot of value out there. Young and Beautiful overlay the support ultimates. Yeah. Young Savage and Hooney must be just afraid of Zik a little bit, thinking, wow, do they really think they can win this fight? We've got to both just go. But currently, Young Savage and Danny I'm going to talk about someone else other than Young Savage for a little bit. Young Savage and Danny are actually taking a lot of the attention of OnePoint on the high ground there, providing so much more time for Young and Beautiful to shut down Chubbs if he takes an aggressive positioning. So it's very well played to Young and Beautiful to split the attention so much from OnePoint, and it really is noteworthy because Chubbs is losing a lot of that like basically assistance that he requires to play the way that he does currently.
The rest of Young and Beautiful have the positional control around the carrier. They're able to get there early, go straight up, straight down. It's going to be blocked out. Ankle out, not really. No, Chubb's going to do the exact same thing with his shadow. Self-destruct still finds Yona. That should not be happening. And I think this is where OnePoint takes back control. They're just removing Young and Beautiful. There were 4 members up, and they had the old letter number blank. That's unfortunate.
Bit unfortunate there. It seemed like they were very close, though. To be fair, there's a lot of aggression coming through. Yeah. People were trying to find their footing there, and in the end, the footing was C9.
Too far away from the payload.
Too far away. You got to play the payload, guys. Come on, at the end of the day. OnePoint, that is decently well played. The self-destruct comes through. There's nothing really to combo with it. No one's there to apply the pressure other than Eng. And I think I'm going to speculate right now and say that I think a boop did come through to push Jonah out of position and into the sidelines of the self-destruct. Because he was in and amongst the grab at that moment. But this is a lot of progress for 1 minute. Let's remind us that they literally only had a minute remaining there. And they took all of point A and quite a bit of point B and pushed it specifically underneath the bridge on point B, which is that choke area where it is quite difficult to push through because there's high ground advantage that can be taken care of, and there's a really nice corner for the defending team to play around.
And they're going to move on to the offensive run. And like I said, Tech hovering that Bastion, not to play it, but just to deter the aggressive hold that usually comes out here on the Goats, which is, of course, what Young and Beautiful are playing when they run into this one. And then once that's done, they'll switch back to their own version of Goats and look for momentum play. They've got to do this fast to really guarantee they have as many fights as possible to push this over the line and win out. So I think when it comes down to these fights head-to-head, OnePoint usually has the edge. So the more they get, the more likely they are to succeed. Yeah, exactly, which is why Young and Beautiful are playing the way that they are right now, which is very much splitting the attention of OnePoint and basically picking them apart piece by piece, which is very smart from Young and Beautiful. I like the way they switched up their playstyle here. Currently, OnePoint is 2 minutes away from closing out this series, potentially if they can make it round to point B, or Young Beautiful keep themselves in this series for a little while longer. Going to retreat into the safety of the alcove and make sure Chubbs can get his shield back. It was just broken there, unfortunately, so they're going to have to wait and get some charge back before they press forward. Crown Drop's got his nice and healthy. Need to find a way back in here. Payload is starting to retract itself under the bridge, which is not what they want. They emerge out and start swinging with the protective barriers onto the main tank. Chubb stunned up. He won't go down. He's able to stay up with the help of his team. Flippy's looking for something of his own, but Yona going to find Chubbs regardless. He's going to get burnt down. This is not good for OnePoint, as Young and Beautiful have sent them packing. And if they can get an advantage in ult economy here, they can easily burn through the 115 remaining.
It becomes very difficult at that point. And I think retreating to server room is a mistake the majority of the time because it's so predictable where you have to come out. You either go onto bridge or you come out through this very predictable choke. Young Savage reads this perfectly, and as Chubbs walks out the door, makes a boop, pushes him towards over Mini, and at that point, Young and Beautiful can just collapse onto it.
They're going to collapse on OnePoint, going up and over to come in behind Young and Beautiful. Young Savage has already found Polly. That's one member going down. This is so tough for them. And OnePoint have to retreat away from the payload, but even further from their own spawn room as they're beginning to be collapsed on Zik. Kills himself for a right click, goes down with the grab. They have to reset fast here. 35 seconds remaining. They're only going to have one more shot at this.
I think I'm in disbelief mode, to be honest with you, because I don't think it's quite hit me yet. Though Young and Beautiful might just take another map right now. OnePoint, they're coming on 6 ultimates. Young and Beautiful only have the 5. The major one here is the rally, which means that they have that rally initiative. They can push into the Young and Beautiful, and it's up to them to disengage. We cannot see another overlaid support ultimate from Young and Beautiful that could diminish their chances of winning right here.
If OnePoint fail to win this map, even if they go on to win the 5th and final control map, that +1 map differential is not good enough when you're in a playoff contention point. It could really severely harm them. Graviton Surge coming in. Transcendence is there. Self-destruct over the top. Oh my God! Danny has just stopped the show, and they repel any resistance from OnePoint. Zik went down with the Graviton Surge, and Eng is the last bastion of hope. We keep joking about it. We keep mentioning it as a possibility. The reverse sweep is on the card. Young and beautiful. We're not one, but 2 maps against 1Point.
It's not a joke anymore. It's becoming serious reality as we head into our final control map right now. Christ, the shatter from Crandop right there is beautiful. And then Danny drops down the self-destruct, and it's all over in a flash for us, for 1Point. And for Young and Beautiful, I mean, they're happy with the bright lights. They want this to keep on going.
Like I said, when they had, I said it before, I tweeted out about earlier, when a team has nothing to lose, you got to be fearful of them because they're going to come out swinging. Young and Beautiful forcing the 5th map tiebreaker. They just need 1 more to complete the reverse sweep. Do not go anywhere. Not gonna lie, did not expect to be in this position. Thought this was gonna be the 1Point coming in on the path of dominance, the war path, if you will, getting to the point where they secure themselves a guaranteed playoffs. But then Voskhaya Industries happens, and Yab take their first map of the season. Then Gibraltar happens, they take their second map of the season, and one thing stands in the way between their first series win of the season. It's Lijiang Tower and 1 point.
I want off this wild ride, Mr. Yeah, please.
I want off this wild ride, Mr. Young Savage.
Young Savage. I feel like I'm in a safari right now, Tridd, because honestly, there's some wild scenes right now, and Young and Beautiful, they're right at the front. They're the tour driver taking us through. But we go to Lijiang Tower. There is opportunity here that we go to Control Center and then over to Night Market as well. Neither of those come on the screen. So we go into Gardens instead.
Bad RNG. Go next.
Yeah, go next. I rolled the dice. I failed, unfortunate. But we go to Lijiang Gardens right now. And this is the one where it gets a little bit tricky. We might see some DPS from either team.
For the first time.
For the first time. It's a map where you can play it because Farah is excellent on this map because there are so many places where you can play her. She works well on the retake most of the time. And then when you're holding, she's even better. So depends what these teams want to play. Young and Beautiful, they're going to tease us. I doubt that's what we're going to see, though. We've seen much of the same during this entire series. Like, the comps have been similar. The games have been very exciting.
Yes, which you usually don't associate the two together. You like to see some variation in here, or at least some... I'm not talking about just like, go off goats. I'm saying, like, you usually get some variations of goats coming in response as well, but this has always been... It's always been the Zen flavor.
Yeah.
Both Scalar and Huni have not switched off the Zen.
Danny is running out with this Farah. No mercy involved. So
he has to show none of that.
Okay, he's going back. So I think they were just going to go for the quick concussive rocket, try and get them off the edge. Doesn't quite work, but now it takes a little bit of a while for Danny to get into the fight, whereas 1 point, they're already ready to fight.
And Young and Beautiful are just trying to take the fight to him early. They actually are overplaying their hand by going aggressive to deny the opportunity of 1 point doing the same. And now you got Danny back in the fight. You're at full strength. Crandorf is going to go down. The bubble won't last so long. Chubbs with the fire strike to go straight through the shield. And yeah, might actually get away with the first cap here. 1 point aren't careful. They go back onto it. They're going to clean this up now, get that first take, and put their best foot forward in this tiebreaker match.
There we go. 1 point starting to look a little bit more healthy right now.
Like 1 point.
They did look a little bit queasy before, but some medication has been applied.
They had tinnitus.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, they've got earbuds in now. They're fully prepared. But Young and Beautiful, they're wanting to come back in. They're going to go through White Room for the time being. This is a nice rotation because it creates a good choke to play through. Chubbs, however, coming towards this shatter could be big.
They're going to be trying to bully him around and make sure he's not in a position where he can drop that shield at a low HP. Not prepared to risk it, the shatter, just yet. You have to concede this territory. There's the big yeet up on the top. I love this grab, Blank. It just makes it so easy to clear him out. Because what are you going to do? If you're up on the ground, you can't counter shatter. You divide the team as well. They're outside the room. I love that grab.
So I think the grab works out, but the reason I don't like it as much is because if you are Chubbs, if you are Crandop in that situation, you point your shield down, no one can really hit you, and if you are too far up, it prevents Chubbs from being actually able to swing into it. Because although Reinhardt's a big guy, he doesn't have that big of a reach.
They're going to be reaching for something here with the sound barrier coming in. Chubb still has the Earth Shadow. He's a little bit healthier to do it. They're going to have that one drop down. And Zix, the only one caught out by it, so the team has to fold around and keep him up. Pollitt still going to take out Crandop. Transcendence coming out from Huni as well. Yona has a Graviton Surge. They're going for the reset nice and quickly. 70%. Probably 2 more fights if they're lucky.
Danny, not quite leading the charge this time. He does make the dive a little bit late afterwards, but 76% starting to get a little bit of the danger zone for Young and Beautiful. They're coming to this next one with the Graviton, but look what we're seeing right now.
He's going for the bumper shatter.
He's going for the chubby shatter right now. Can he hit it?
Please, Young and Beautiful, check the corners. No, they've gone for the fake. Oh, Chubbs is just being denied his moment to shine. He has to charge back in. You just saw it there.
Last fight, though.
Just to make sure he's with them. And you're right, Blank. Last fight. Graviton Surge on the pillar. We'll keep him there. Self-destruct in front of them. No bash coming through, but Zix still caught out because it's a nice little boot. Countergraph came up before he went down, so it's not a total loss here. And we are in 99%, so they've got everything they need to do, and they've got plenty of time to take it back should they lose this fight. But I don't think that's on the cards for them. They want to win it out here, and they've got the Earth Shadow to do it. The input back, not the environmental, until Young Savage comes in and tells Ang to take a dip. There's the full retreat. They're going to give the point over and try not to lose much. Polly gets caught out by Young Savage.
It's like playing versus a bloody reverse vacuum cleaner. You're just getting thrown back consistently over and over again.
That's called a leaf blower, Blank.
Oh, well. I am unfamiliar to this concept. It'd be funny if they were playing versus Morningstar, then he really would be a leaf blower. Young and Beautiful, however, they're waiting right now. But Young
Tech
Savage
3-6.
gets a little bit too aggressive.
Taking out Young Savage and Pollitt as the rally to keep 1 point up there. Tech 3-6 got himself shot. Nice! Shadow coming down to deny. The shadow coming out from Chubbs, actually. That's huge
Big
for Young and Beautiful. And Zik will still take out Flippy and regain control. Cranbrook goes down. 1 point might be able to get the flip here and just win the first round.
Yeah, Jonah has to back off right now, but he's taking so much fire right now, so much heat. He's going to fall shortly afterwards. Young Savage coming back in again. Could be shades of False Sky once again, where it's the hero play. But no! Crandop, where have you gone?
Why have you forsaken us? He's Cran dropped out of the game, unfortunately.
Tridd, come on.
Going
Enough of that.
gonna have the reconnection coming in shortly, so we're gonna have to take a pause here. 1 point. They are going to get the flip over, and it's very unlikely that Young and Beautiful are going to be able to contest this first round, and it looks like we're going to see Gardens just going over to 1 point. So you still got 2 more attempts of this when you go on to the next 2 rounds of Legday Tower, but I want to reiterate how unlikely it is that Young and Beautiful get away with this map now.
Yeah.
The round now.
You have to shed a tear for Crandop. That's really sad. He was actually getting back in. And to be honest with you, you know that Young and Beautiful right now, it's just like the mathematician algebra is all over the place. Like, how do we take this one back? It's pretty impossible, basically. That's my input as a pretty bad mathematician.
How bad is it going to be if they now actually do it now? It's impossible they do it.
I said I was a bad mathematician, so if they prove me wrong, then it just means they're better than maths than I am. So I'm cool with that. I talk. I don't do algebraic functions or anything like this.
Yeah.
Not like you. You're very smart.
Am I? That's the first time anyone's ever said that about me in this capacity.
Oh,
that's not typically.
Just about maths, not about this.
Oh, right, yeah, not about Overwatch. hey, I hit mid-diamond today. Thank you very much.
It's a solid shout, to be fair. Well, if we come back to this, though, however, Control Center. As we should. Control Center and moving onwards onto Night Market. I think these are maps where Young and Beautiful may be a little bit more favored there. I think that here, really, 1 point, they've got a good understanding of how Legday Gardens work, but the free maps are Control Center and Night Market. It does put Young and Beautiful in a difficult situation, though, because now they have to win maps back, or sub-maps back-to-back. It's a bit of a yiker, but I think if Young and Beautiful can do it, they can do it here. So they have the morale.
So you're looking to hand them that yike card. Just hold on to it for now, Blank. Put it in your pocket.
I want them to give me the reverse, to be honest. Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, there's no exchanging of yikes, because we're going to go to a quick break while we sort out the technical issues, and we're going to come back and bring you the conclusion of this series. Thanks for being with us. I'm being informed by knowledgeable people that the technical difficulties are... Not you, you didn't tell me anything. It's these people in here. That's not voices in my head, by the way. That's just like production. But they're telling me that the technical issues are dealt with. We're going to be jumping into the game very shortly. It was looking very dire for Young and Beautiful. We pretty much 100% certain that we're going to see Gardens go over to... Night Garden go over.
It's not finished yet. It's not done.
1 point.
Yeah.
Young and Beautiful are still technically in the round, though. So when we jump back into the action, we'll be sure to show you more of that. And look, you see, there we go. It's dire. 1 point, have control of the point. Young and Beautiful trying to get in there fast, but going to be just stall tactics here. Young Savage will commit that sound barrier. Graviton Surge is being traded, but no one's there to stay alive. You've got the Transcendence as well from Scalar to make sure nothing else goes wrong. And as expected, clinical, clean closeout coming from 1 point. As long as they just finish off the rest of Young and Beautiful.
Yeah, it's stall tactics right now. They're hanging on, but the good thing is that Krandop is back. He's playing Hammond, which is actually good because he's quite a highly mechanical hero, which means that there's still not some latency issues, at least for the poor guy. Yeah. So Young and Beautiful will be able to be playing at top form, I assume, coming into these next two maps, potentially, because as we know, 1 point could finish on the next one. For some reason, I feel like we are going to the third map.
No,
I don't know why.
We're going over to Night Market.
Yeah. We're going to Night Market. I feel like there will be Control Center as well. I don't know. That is the voices in my head telling me that, though.
Right. Young and Beautiful have to win this round for that to happen, though.
It's true. It is true. I think this is one where they can do it, though. This map heavily focuses on rotations where you slowly wear down the enemy team and then slowly but surely make your way to the point after cooldowns are maybe overused by the enemy team and then you take point. I think this favors Young and Beautiful because so far the way they've been splitting attention versus 1 point has been incredibly good. So hopefully we see more of the same and Chubbs who focus down early.
Pushing them back, and they've given up a lot of control here, a lot of territory to Young and Beautiful to press forward. And you keep Chubbs up here, like you said, there's a lot of focus on him, but Zik now getting a lot of focus. Needs to be set up. They're diving into the health pack. The rest of the team. Scalar doesn't know which way to look as he comes back out to try and throw some damage into Young and Beautiful. But the positional advantage is in favor of Yab. They can move on to the point here if they want to migrate over. But they're buying time for 1 point to recontrol or recontest this ground. Huge right click there from Zik to burn through. So many members of Yab won't get the kill. First cap going over Young and Beautiful. And the Transcendence comes out. 1 point just back away.
I think that Scalar, Hooney wanted to use the ultimate there to keep Krandop up, and I think he expected more of an engage coming out from 1 point, but now they can just unleash the grab very handily.
Sound barrier just needs to wait for that to go. They're going to plant it on the floor. Hang on a minute. No, Jones going to pull the trigger first. Transcendence coming down from Scalar. Shadow into the ground as well. Tech already clears up Krandop, and the rest of them are just going to be falling to the side as 1 point take control and flip the point, and they've got an ult in the bag to do it. They've got the self-destruct and the Earth Shatter for the next offensive.
It's good though, because Yab held onto the point for quite a while. They get 30%. That's quite a sizable chunk towards that 100 that they do need to finish this map out. Young and Beautiful coming to this next one. They have the rally advantage. They can take the initiative on this one. So far, they haven't been massively aggressive, however, but hopefully we can see something like that here. They don't have the sound barrier, which they do usually rely on to basically run into 1 point, but they are going to take this slow, make the drop now, and Chubbs immediately wants to engage.
They send that self-destruct in and create a path, a little bit of chaos. Polly going down, fantastic. Tech's going to drop his self-destruct in the courtyard, still finding Young Savage. Not sure how he managed that one, but he's going to move on to the point regardless. They're going to have Danny go down low, get some healing as needed as they move on to the point. Similar percentage capture, and 1 point obviously want to get more out of this, but they don't want to lose their lives to do it. Discord Orb is on top of Aang, and it's just the fist from Danny to finish him off as the Transcendence comes out from Hooney, yet again to secure the capture, secure the flip. And 1 point, they're just going to try and back out before giving them anything else, but they do take an advantage in the map percentage.
I think Young and Beautiful are pretty happy with that one.
Yeah.
They basically win the fight just off of Danny's really nice self-destruct. Obviously, Hooney is playing very cautiously right now. This is the last map. This could potentially be the last map for them, so it's understandable why he is playing like that. 1 point coming to this next one with an array of ultimates on their side. However, Danny has to jump off. He's been doing this thing where he's been knocking off the high ground very handily this entire series. But now Young and Beautiful, they have this grab. It's their only thing to work with right now. It has to be good. It has to deny a lot of the pressure that OnePoint want to apply to Yab.
Off to the side, no one's going to be able to grab that one. Hammer's being swung around by Chubbs. He's got the ult charge already. He's just looking for the damage instead. As Zik takes out Flippy. Yona's on the back end of this one. He's not nearly able to match the charge of Zik. They're going to concede it. They know it's all over, but they are forcing it out to the high 70%, maybe even the mid-range here, as the flip comes in to get OnePoint back in the game.
I like this. The way the Young and Beautiful playing it is just taking small wins where they can, coming back into it with better ult economy they had before. OnePoint having those 5 ultimates online, but they don't have a counter grab available. So Jonah cannot get this grab eaten. It is the major thing that is going to prop them up in this upcoming fight versus OnePoint. Danny close to his bomb, so this is going to be the big thing right now.
Shadow comes out, there's grabs on Surge, not being eaten up by Tech 360. Yona does get it off, the Shadow comes in from Chubbs. They try and divide and conquer the rest of OnePoint, but Zik's going to stay up. Protective barriers are there. Tech sending that self-destruct up into the air. Will still find Young Savage again. The second time he's been caught out that series, and he was so close to a sound barrier. If any defensive ults are coming out from Young and Beautiful, it will have to be the Transcendence, but they reset, knowing they have one more fight in the tank.
And they have 2 more supportive ultimates as well as ahead of OnePoint. OnePoint had to use a lot there to keep themselves in this fight, so Young and Beautiful, I really think what they want to win off here is purely the sound barriers. They move into the point. They have a shatter as well, and so far Krandop has been super successful with that.
Trying to move it around. There's the grab on Surge, holds him in place, swinging the hammer. Sound barrier's already been used, so the Transcendence has to come in instead. Chubbs finds Yona, takes him out of the fight entirely, but Danny is going to take out Chubbs, and Zik tries to drop down to a charge. Young and Beautiful are fighting tooth and nail to stay in this series, and it gets a Transcendence out from Scalar for only 2 members remaining. OnePoint think they can win this fight, and the charge comes in to try and shut down Tech. The Krandop's been found out. Scalar's taking out Hooney. OnePoint may have done enough. Overtime is ticking down as Danny comes back onto the point. He's spinning around, trying to dodge everything. The self-destruct is there. You have to get your shields up and force them away. And the remake comes into play off the point. It was looking shaky for OnePoint, but they get away with the win. But you got to remember, this was a huge upset in terms of ruining the map differential for OnePoint. They walk away with +1 from this blank.
It's not great. It's not really all that enough either to propel you into playoffs. Sure, they've secured their position right now, but now there is other teams yapping at the heels, gnawing at the Achilles heel right now, trying to make their way into playoffs. Teams like Eternal Academy and Shoes Money Crew, it's all gone a little bit awry for OnePoint right now.
Yab put in a fantastic performance today, especially in this second half where they just took control of the game and forced out that 5th map, and it all started on Volskaya Industries.
Yeah, they raged all the way into the end right now. Young Savage, a key player to the 2 map wins that Yab did actually get through here. So OnePoint, it's not as clean as they would like to. It's very uncharacteristic of them because so far they've played extremely well versus some of the top teams, even forcing AT to one of the draws and forcing them a lot of pressure onto them. So it's impressive to see Yab take so many maps off of them in this series.
And of course, OnePoint's opponents next week, I believe, are Eternal Academy, so they need to be looking at that one.
They look better as well.
Eternal Academy have been on the up. They're still struggling to get those wins, but in the final week, that's when it's going to really come to an end. And yeah, you got to feel for them. They took OnePoint to 5 games, but their next week's opponents are a little bit more difficult. They're going up against Team Giganti, and who knows, if they actually play spoiler to Giganti in the same way they did to OnePoint, that could really throw any chance of recovery that Giganti have of getting that first round bye.
Yeah, just coming alive towards the end of the season. And it's nice because it shakes things up for Season 2. Should we continue to see Yab as they make their way through trials once again.
But they always come back.
But they always come back. They're like a zombie. It's just they're undying. It's very good, but it does bode well for us come Season 2. If they can continue to improve like this, they have had a very shaky roster and a shaky season overall when it comes to players dipping in and out of the team. So there's a lot of time for improvement. OnePoint seemed to fix that stability early on. Young and Beautiful, unfortunately, they had a lot longer to be able to do that.
And if you're familiar with the kind of like history of Young and Beautiful and Contenders particularly, you know that they have a knack for taking risks on newer talent. And then the problem they have is that they start getting taken away. Young Savage, people are going to start eyeing him up as a potential move on this one. But
he looks juicy.
Let's focus back onto OnePoint. We've got Colsty joining us here for a quick little chat. And congratulations on getting the win there. But Young and Beautiful made that so much closer than we were expecting.
Yeah, I mean, I've known that this week Young and Beautiful improved a lot. And I think like even if they were down, like basically out of playoffs, I'm really happy for them that they managed to perform this well.
Yeah, and one player we highlighted in particular on that roster was Young Savage. Did you do any work in particular? Because I know as a former main tank, did you do any work with your main tank? Who am I forgetting now? Chubbs. Did you do much work with him to kind of work against the aggression that comes out from Young Savage? Because he does go for these very aggressive boops.
Yeah, I've had him focus a lot on understanding his position to not get booped.
Yeah.
For sure. I think one thing that in particular I noticed about your team a lot is you're great at going from very aggressive to suddenly playing super defensive and then finding a lot of success that way. Is that a specific thing that's being drilled into the team at the moment?
Yes, I've been telling them that we need to look for small wins. Because right now, like, you are not going to win just on one play. You're going to win in a set of play, in seconds of play, I mean. That's what I've always been trying to drill into them.
And of course, you've got your final opponent on the group stage. I believe it's Eternal Academy next week. I think, but I'm not 100% sure. I think this win does put you in a very good position to get playoffs. It's all about standings for you. What do you think is going to be the biggest threat on Eternal Academy to you next week?
They are very strong at playing DPS comps. And depending on the map pool, I think next week map pool is in our favor, but like if it was this week map pool, I wouldn't be that confident.
Yeah.
God bless map RNG.
Yes.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your time, Colsty. Congratulations on the win and good luck in that matchup next week.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Well, there you have it. You put in some work with Chubbs to the aggressive Lucio positioning, and he's also been telling them to find these windows.
I can't get over how nice Colsty is all the time. He's like, he comes in, he even congratulates Yab on the couple of victories they took off them. It must be a pleasure working with him, especially being on coaching staff. And that's why probably we have seen so much success out of OnePoint overall.
It's been fantastic performance from then. A little bit disappointing with the map scoreline, but the win was all that counted for them today. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to take a quick break. But we've got one stellar matchup coming out to close out the series. Angry Titans versus Morning Stars coming up after the break.